Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Fill Up Friday. I am your host, Mrs. JSpire, and I am so honored that you guys have chosen to join us tonight. If you are watching the video or you're watching live, then welcome. And if you are catching the replay, thank you so much for taking the time to go back and watch. This is the last Fill Up Friday for 2022, and I am so excited to talk about what we have filled up on, how we have grown over the last year, and definitely excited about what we are going to do next. So as you come in, please take some time to say hello. Let us know who you are and where you are listening from. And then also share the love. Give us some hearts, give us some likes, and share this with your family and with your friends. Let them know that we are here for our last Fill Up Friday Live of 2022. It has been an awesome year. It has been, for some of us, it's been a crazy year. It's been a hard year, but we have come to the end of it. We have made it and we are here. So I'm so excited just to take some time to talk to you guys tonight. I'm going to take some time to invite some people in and to give our Fill Up Friday faithfuls time to come in as well. There is so much for us to talk about tonight, and we are so excited. If this is your first time catching Fill Up Friday Live, please drop that in the comments. We want to welcome you. We want to tell you thank you so much for watching. Also started dropping the comments what you guys filled up on this week. We didn't come on last week, so there's so much that we need to talk about. Wanting to know what you filled up on last week, how your week was, what you did to take care of yourself and to practice some self-care, what you did to share some love and some laughter and some inspiration, some motivation with someone else. We always talk about if you see a person without a smile, give them one of yours because they may definitely need it. Good evening, Lucy. Thank you for joining us tonight. I was just saying I'm going to give a few more of the Fill Up Friday faithful some time to come on. You filled up on great memories. I filled up on family this week, and I'm so excited about it. I filled up on family near and far. So whether they were physically with me or whether we saw each other on Zoom or on Messenger, I filled up on family and I filled up on making great memories as well. That is so important. I saw someone post something earlier this week that said something about if you take a picture, then know that it will last for a lifetime. So it gives you something to look back on. It gives you the opportunity to reflect, to know that that person was there or that that event happened, and it's good memories. Hey, Vincent, I love you too. Thanks for joining us tonight for Fill Up Friday Live. So, you guys, we are going to go ahead and get started. So, if you're coming in for the replay, thanks for catching the replay and thank you so much for joining us. Again, as you come in, say hello. Let us know what you filled up on. Let us know where you are listening from. And most importantly, share this live with someone else. JSpirations Live is all about sharing with the community, sharing with people, making sure that we are putting positivity out into the atmosphere, making sure that we are speaking things that's going to bless our lives and that's going to bless everyone else as well. So, you guys, this is the last Fill Up Friday of 2022. We've done so much this year, and I've just been so excited about the way you guys have supported JSpirations Live, the way that you guys have showed up every Friday night for Fill Up Friday, the way that you guys have loved and liked and shared the post. We have done what we were here to do, right? We were purposeful this year in sharing and making sure that we were motivating and that we were not just receiving, but that we were also giving as well. So tonight we're going to do things just a little bit different. Of course, we are going to talk about what we filled up on because it is Fill Up Friday. But we're also going to take some time tonight to reflect on our year And to prepare for 2023, we're going to be talking about the difference between resolutions and vision. We're going to be talking about how we can be intentional in how we're speaking, what we're doing, pretty much just how we're moving, because we want to be intentional in all things. So I know for myself, this year went by really fast. Um, it's been a crazy year, but it's also been a good year too, right? Like I've been able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I've been able to see that light when I've been in some dark places. So although it hasn't been, sometimes the best time for me, maybe it hasn't been the best time for you, but we are still here. And we have made it. But this year, I have grown a lot. And in that growth, I have learned so much about myself. um this year I did my best to focus on me and to keep my eyes off of other people. And I know for some of us, for me, sometimes that can be really hard, right? We're focusing on what someone else is doing or what someone else isn't doing, because we have to be honest. Sometimes when people are doing certain things, it does affect us, right? But I tried really hard this year to focus on myself and to not worry about what other people were doing. Concerned, yes, but worry, no, right? And of course, it didn't always happen like that, because sometimes I was worried, but I was focusing and really working really hard on focusing on myself. And so, again, in doing that, I learned much about myself. So, I wanted to pose the question tonight: what did you all learn about yourself this year? If you can start to drop that into the comments, whether you're watching on YouTube or whether you're watching on Facebook, just start to drop that into the comments. What did you learn about yourself this year? Right? And life is about reflection and ensuring that we are growing and that we are maturing and that we're doing things different. We shouldn't be doing the same thing at 15 that we're doing at 20, or at 20 that we're doing at 25. Life is about growth, and it's a process. So as I'm giving you guys time to drop that into the comments, this year I learned that I am resilient. Right? There are so many times where things have happened and I did not think that I was going to make it. Right? We get into those spaces where we're just like, there's no way I can get through this. There's no way I can make it. There's no way that, this is going to work out. There's no way that it's going to work out for my good. Right? But I've learned through this year that I am resilient. I've learned that I can have my space to get upset, to hurt, to go through all those emotions that God has given me to use when I need them, but that I can also get back up and that I am resilient. And in learning that I am resilient, it has made my days better. It has made my days easier, because I know, it sounds cliche-ish, but, and people say it, trouble doesn't last always, but it is the honest truth that it does not last always, and that we can be resilient and we can go through our moments, but that we can get back up. So Lucy said that she learned not to get ahead of God's plan, and that is so awesome. And I'm glad that you said that. This week I posted on JSpire's Live, and I'm going to paraphrase it. I don't have it really in front of me, but I said something about that. I'm glad that I got the no. Right? Sometimes when people tell us no, we get so upset because it's something that we wanted, it's something that we wanted to do, and we just can't understand why that person would tell us no, right? Or why it would not happen the way that we wanted it to happen or the way that we expected it to happen. But you guys, sometimes that no, it is in your favor, right? It is in your favor because God is protecting us from something, right? And then sometimes we're thinking small and He has bigger things for us. And so He has to give us that no so that we can continue to walk in expectation, that we can continue to think bigger, that we can continue to think better for ourselves. So He, sometimes you have to have that no because it's not what it's not what God has for us. So he's saving us from something, or he's helping us to know that there is something bigger and that there is something better. So Ashley said, I learned that the spirit of fear will keep you mentally stuck in the past. And Ashley, Ashley, no, we've had, conversations. And so I'm glad that you learned it, right? Because once you know something, thanks, Mom, because we talked about this earlier. But, sometimes you don't know. But then once you learn, then you're able to move in a different way. So, Ashley, you said you learned that the spirit of fear will keep you mentally stuck in the past. And because you learned that, and you know that, it no longer has you in bondage, right? It no longer holds you captured. You're not captured by it anymore, right? You are free because you have learned that. And now you can know. And listen, God knew we would have the spirit of fear, right? And that's why he puts it in his word, right? He knew that we would have it, but that he knew that we could be triumph over it because of him, right? He knew that was a feeling that we would have, but it doesn't have any authority over us. And so, yeah, sometimes we are going to be scared. Sometimes we are going to be nervous, but God tells us not to walk in fear. So now that you have learned that, baby girl, you can walk in freedom. And that is what life is about. It's about learning, right? And then passing that information on as well. So I speak life into you right now. And I pray that you're able to move forward to do exactly what God is calling you to do. And Lucy says, yes, perfect love cast out all fear. So I'm so glad that you were able to learn that. Another thing that I learned about myself is that I don't always have to say something. If you know me, you know that I'm very opinionated. If there's something going down, then I want to talk about it. I want to get my 2 cents out there. I want my voice to be heard. I want someone to hear my point of view. And have I mastered it? Not at all. But I have learned that there are times where I need to be quiet, times where I need to be silent, times where I don't have to respond or react to everything that's being said to me or to everything that's being done to me. This year, there was a situation that absolutely blew my mind. And I could not believe that it happened. And I wanted to react so bad. I wanted to react so bad that I even called people that I knew would help me react. But God is so good because He even allowed them to speak peace into my life, right? I was calling them so that, back in the day, we say, so we could be about it, so we could get rowdy about it. But even God had them to be at peace with the situation, right? And so because they didn't get rowdy about it, I didn't get rowdy about it. And so what I started doing is just spending time with God and just talking to Him about the situation. And I had to tell Him, that's not the way I want to respond either. And He gave me so much peace around the situation. He gave me so much peace around the situation that I couldn't even figure out where the peace was coming from, because it's not what I wanted. I wanted to say something, I wanted to respond, but He would just not allow it to happen. And because He didn't allow it to happen, I asked Him to take it from out of my thoughts, right? To take it from out of my remembrance. And I'm telling you, even though we're talking about it now, but it has no authority over me. God is so awesome. And like when we just allow Him to work His plan and not to try to do things our way, He gives us so much peace, right? That we cannot even understand. Because when I tell you, I could not understand how I was not like held captured by that situation. But God is so good. And even sometimes when in my mind I try to think back to it, or I try to go back to it and say, you know what? I should have said something, or I want to say something. He brings it right back to me that it's not worth it. He brings it right back to me that whatever He's doing or whatever He has allowed to happen, that it is intentional, that he's intentional about what He's allowing to happen in my life, even though I don't understand it. he's still very intentional about it. And I've come to the conclusion that what he does in my life is none of my business. How he does things and how he gets things done, it's none of my business. And that's a hard pill to swallow, right? Because we want to be in it. We want to be saying something and we want to be in control of it. But because I have allowed him to take that situation and do whatever he wants to do with it, you guys, you don't understand how much I have been at peace with it. So we have to learn that the spirit of fear, it will keep us mentally stuck in the past. But when we let go and we let God, he will make it okay. And so there's going to be situations in our lives that we are not going to understand. There's going to be situations that's not going to feel good, right? And it's not even going to look good to people looking in. But we know that God has a plan. And so we have to be still, we have to be at peace, and we have to trust him. That's another thing that I have learned this year about myself, is that I have to trust him. There's a lot of time where I was just saying, yes, I trust him. God, I trust you. But I really was not trusting him. It sounded good. And then I came into the situation where I felt like everything in me was broken, but he's the potter, right? And so over this year, he has put me back together again, like physically, right? He has put me back together. And I have learned this year how to truly trust God with everything. Now, again, I'm human, and so I'm always transparent. Yeah, there are times where I'm just like, okay, God, come on. Like, why is this happening? Or there is no way that this is going to be fixed. But he just brings it back like, baby, I already did this. Like, I already brought you through this. You don't think I'm gonna be able to bring you through this? Like, it's all good and it's for his glory, because the more that he does, the more my relationship with him grows. It gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And I keep learning that there is no one that I can depend on like him. Y'all in these comments gonna get me all off what I was supposed to be talking about tonight. But those are some of the things that I have learned about myself. If you're just joining us, welcome to the JSpirations live show, Fill Up Friday Live. Tonight we are just talking about how we have grown over the last year, and talking about what we learned about ourselves. So if you're just coming in, go ahead and drop in the comments what you have learned about yourself this year. We want to talk about it. So, some more things that I've learned about myself is I have learned that my family is important, right? I have learned that there have been times where I have isolated myself from people who love me, right? But in this season, God has truly shown me, life has truly shown me that family is so important. um I've spent so much more time with my family and my friends this year. And like I said, maybe not in person, but just talking to them, being honest about some things, being supportive, knowing that it's not just about me, but it's about them. And it's not just about them, but it's about me and it's about us. So God has grown some of those relationships this year, that has just made me know that family is so important. So I've learned that about myself, that I need to be more transparent, that I need to share my feelings more, that I need to communicate how I feel and why I feel, because having those conversations and those relationships with my family is important, and that is absolutely necessary. Janice, welcome. I saw you come in under the Vita. I figured it was you. Welcome to Fill Up Friday. I see Candace just can't come in as well. So welcome to Fill Up Friday Live. So again, just drop in what you learned about yourself. I know you guys have learned some things about yourself this year. I know you have grown in some areas, because I've seen you. I've seen your post change. I've seen, the way that you respond to things on your post change. I've had conversations with you guys. So I know that you have been growing. I know that you have been maturing. I know that you have been, thinking about what you need to do better, what, choices you may need to make. So I've seen you. And so I want you to be able to put those things out there, and so that you can recognize how you have grown. The only way that you're going to continue to grow is to be able to reflect on the old, right? So that you can prepare for the new. I was talking to one of my girlfriends last night, and I was telling her something that, a time frame that I had given myself and what I wanted to do. And we began to start talking about how there are times where we are asking God for things, but we're not preparing for it. Right. And today, as I was thinking, I'm like, you know what? She's right. We ask for things and we want things, and then we kind of sit dormant and we just wait. But we have to be in preparation mode. That's just like when we're pregnant with the physical baby, right? We don't wait until the baby comes and then we go home and we start buying clothes, buying formula, buying toys, putting up the crib, putting up the bassinet. No, we don't do that. When we find out that we are pregnant with the baby, we start preparation, right? We start finding the doctors that we need to find. And then as we get closer and closer to the baby coming, we have a baby shower, right? And so that's preparation for all the things that we're going to need. And then once we start to get all of those things, we start putting them together, because when the baby comes home, the baby automatically directly will need somewhere to sleep, right? So we don't wait until the baby comes. We prepare for the baby to come into our lives, to come into our home, to come into our family. And so it's the same thing. We're asking God for things, then we have to get in anticipation and in preparation mode. And that's going to lead us into the next conversation that I want to have tonight. But continue to drop into the comments what you learned about yourself this year. It's going to be preparation for the next, right? Preparation for what you want God to do, preparation for what you see that's going to be different, that's coming into your life. We have to prepare. And so when I started thinking about that, I started thinking about how we have New Year resolutions. We make those resolutions every single year. And people get so excited about telling people what they are going to do. I want to stop for a second because I want to make sure I acknowledge some of the comments that's coming in. So Christina said, I have matured in my faith. And that's awesome, right? That's the growth. And then Lucy said, I found out that the attacks are real, but thank God you are not the attacker. Listen, that's awesome, right? And I learned that I have all that I need. Listen, and that is, and that all goes back to preparation, because God prepares us for seasons that we don't even know that we're going to be in, right? And so when we mature in our faith, when we are not the attacker, right? We're not being vicious, or we're not being toxic, or, we're not being the aggressor. That God shows us favor for doing that. He gives us grace, right? He gives us mercy. And then because of that, we do have all that we need. So I want to jump right into kind of talking about New Year, because I don't want to hold you guys long. But I've been thinking about New Year because I used to always be that person that I'm like, okay, I want to make a New Year's resolution, right? This is what I'm going to do this year. Oh, I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to spend more time with my family. Uh, I don't know. I'm going to get a new job. Anything, right? We make these New Year resolutions. And I started thinking about those things. When we start to make New Year resolutions, we get stuck, because the thing is, if it's something that you want, it's something that you want to do, why are we waiting? So if it's August, right? And you want to lose weight, or you want to, start looking for a new job, or you want to spend more time with your family, why aren't we moving right now? Right? Why are we waiting until January 1 to start spending more time with our family, or to start looking for things or doing things that we know that we want, that's a desire of our heart? And so I want to talk about the difference between a resolution and then a vision. And I also want to acknowledge that Amber said strength. So she learned that she has strength. And yes, Amber, we talked about it a little earlier, just being resilient, not having to be strong, but we're learning that we are resilient and that life is going to happen. But God has given us the strength to move through all of those seasons. And it's because He knew those seasons would take place. So He has already prepared us and given us what we need, right? It's just like a bear who hibernates. He's preparing, right, to go into hibernation, and so that he can have all that he needs, because he doesn't want to starve in there, right? And so we think about, like, it's a bear, but even a bear knows God has given a bear wisdom. He has given a bear strength. He has given a bear knowledge to be able to prepare for the winter, right? To store up so that he can have enough. And so surely he has given us those same things to be able to prepare, right? To anticipate all that he has for us. He gives us what we need. Sometimes it's just what we decide to do with it, right? Because what if the bear starts to he starts to gather all these things, but instead of putting it where he needs to put it and store it up, what if he starts to eat it, right? He can't wait, right? He's just going to eat it, but then he's not going to have anything in that storehouse. And so God is really, he's showing me how to just prepare, and be in anticipation of what he's going to do. And that when he gives me things, we're not just talking about finances, but when he gives me things, whether it's finances or whether he gives me someone to connect to, or whether he gives me a different resource, he's teaching us how to maneuver with it, how to use it, how to connect with the people that he's given us, so that we are in preparation mode and we are anticipating what he is going to do next, because there is a next. He is going to do something next. It's so that he can get the glory. And we have to be honored that he is using us, that we are the vessel that he is using in order to get the glory. So I want to talk a little bit about resolution and vision, because I want us to stop going into things saying, oh, we're making a new year resolution. So let's talk about what the difference is. All right. So Webster's, it defines resolution as a firm decision to do or not to do something, right? And it says the quality of being determined to resolute, right? So similar words it uses is intention, resolve, decision, intent, right? The aim, things like that. But then when we go to the word vision says the ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. So when I started reading vision, I said it's the ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. So I took that word imagination out for me, and the ability to think about and not necessarily plan, but I pulled out the word wisdom, because when you go to God with your vision, right, and you listen to him and you connect with the people that he helps you to connect with, right? We're not just out here willy nilly doing things on our own, picking people because they have money, or picking people because they have this huge following, picking people because they know them. No, we're going to have a vision, and we're going to move in wisdom, right? And when God gives us a vision, it's long term. The vision is, what do you see? Right? Where is your faith? What do you see that God is going to give you? And then what does it look like? Right? And then with that vision, you begin to write, to have goals, and you begin to plan, right? And you have short term goals. And then you have that longer term goal that's part of your vision. When we have just a resolution, that's just like, we're how far are we seeing, right? And we know for ourselves that The resolution, most of us break that resolution 5 days in, 2 days in. We're not going to eat any chocolate. By the end of the third day, we're stuffing, Snickers into our mouths because it's just a resolution and it's temporary. It's not a vision. And God wants us to have vision. He gives us vision. So as we think about our next, and you don't have to wait until January 1, grab your paper, grab your pen right now and start thinking about, what does your vision look like? Lord, what is my purpose? What do you want me to do next? And how should I do it? When should I do it? Who should be connected to me when I do it? Right. And so that's the vision, because when you have vision, we are thinking long term. We are thinking like that we're producing, right? When you have a vision, when you start to put those seeds into the ground of what your garden is going to look like, what your harvest is going to look like, what you're going to have, what you're going to see, what you'll have to feed your family, right? There is a vision, and harvest is attached to it. But a resolution, it's just a decision, and we make decisions every day, right? Sometimes they're good decisions, sometimes they're not, but we want to have vision, right? We want to be able to see clearly what God has given us and what He wants us to do. And the reason that I can speak on that tonight is because, in 2020 and 2021, everybody was writing books, right? And I started to think, I want to write a book too. It seems like it's really easy, right? It seems like anybody can do it. I'm not minimizing anyone that's writing books. I'm not doing that at all. But what I'm saying is, I started wanting to jump on the bandwagon because everybody else was doing it. But that wasn't the vision that I had for myself. Right. So it never worked. I believe that there is a book in me, but I believe that what I was trying to write about, it wasn't part of what God wanted me to have out there. And so I was trying to go ahead of His plan because I just wanted to do it just to be able to say, I'm an author. But that's not the way it works. It's purposeful, right? We have to be purposeful and we have to be intentional, because I could have put a book out there, but the book wasn't going to be successful because it wasn't time for me to do it, right? God says there is a time for everything, there's a season. And I was trying to plant seeds outside of the season, so there wasn't going to be a harvest, right? But you know what He birthed in me? He birthed a radio show, right? And He reminded me that, Joshlin, you always wanted to do radio. You didn't want to write this book, right? Even though that is something that I desire, but it wasn't time. And so He birthed the radio show right in the middle of a pandemic. And the radio show was absolutely awesome. It connected me to some folks that I needed to be connected to. It put me in places that He needed me to be, right? And so then we're able to go to the next step because there's vision. And although right now I'm not doing the radio show, that's still part of my vision. And so I can still see it. I know it's going to come back. I know it's going to happen when it's the time to happen. And y'all stay tuned, because it could be happening soon, because it's part of my vision. It's part of my purpose. And that was part of my short-term goal. Right. And so we don't want to just have a resolution where we're just all out here saying, yeah, I'm going to make a decision to do that. We want to be intentional in making our decisions, right? And so that's how I want you to start thinking today, not on January 1, but that's how I want you to start thinking right now. What is your vision? What do you see for yourself? Sit down and talk with God about, God, what is my purpose? What do you need me to do? And He's going to give you vision. And when He gives you vision, it's not going to be short term, and it's going to be successful. It's going to be long lasting, and it's going to be legacy, right? And so that's what I want. I want legacy. I don't want something that's just temporary, right? We don't want temporary. We want something that's going to be permanent. We want something that's going to grow, right? We want something that's going to produce. We want something that's going to harvest. And so I speak in your life tonight that God has begun a good work in you. right? He's begun a good work in me. And so we have to see it through, and we have to get in preparation mode. We can't be stagnant. We can't just sit around and wait. Now, listen, God can do anything and He can do all things, but we have to prepare and we have to work and we have to move. I always say that a dream without works is just sleep, y'all. That's what it is. A dream without works, it's just sleep. And I'm speaking to myself as well, because there's lots of things that I want to do and sometimes I sleep on it, right? But it's part of my vision. And so I know I have to start being intentional and I have to start moving. My friend Christina is on here, and Christina always says, "Why haven't you done that yet?" She holds me accountable. And so sometimes we have to have accountability partners. We have to have friends in our lives, friends in our circle who are going to encourage us and not allow us to stay stagnant. I know for a fact that God placed Christina in my life. I met her in 2014. And I'll be honest with you, you guys, and she, Christina, you're on here, so you can say it. We are different, but we're so much alike. So if God hadn't have put us in the location that He needed us to be in, we may have never met, but that was intentional, right? And so God knew that I would need her, and God knew that she would need me. Right. And so she is, sometimes when she calls me or she says something to me, I ain't gonna lie, I'll be like, man, she is getting on my nerves because she's saying it again. But you know what? She's being intentional because she knows what's inside of me, right? And so she's always pushing me. And so even when I get mad and I'm like, here you go telling me this again, I'm like, I'm getting off the phone with her because she said it again. But she's saying it because she's holding me accountable, and she's not going to allow me to allow the seeds that are put into the ground to die. So she's encouraging me and she's pushing me to water those seeds. And so we have to have good people in our lives. I've said before too, people in your corner. I don't want anybody in my corner. I want people in my circle, because when we're standing in a circle, then we are connected. If I'm sitting here and you're over in the corner, if I fall, you can't catch me. Right. So I need people who are in my circle. And so I'm thankful for my circle. And I want you guys to have a positive circle. I want you guys to have good people in your lives. Surround yourself with people who see your vision. And God is going to connect you to the people that you need. And there's going to be people who are going to drop off, and you're going to be trying to figure out, well, where they go to. Like, I really like that person. You can still like them, and you can still love them, and you can still care about them, but they may not be connected to your right now and to your vision. There are people that I knew when I was younger, and we were really, really good friends. And for a while, we dropped off. And then right at a certain time, God just picked them up and put them right back. But you know what happened? We had grown so much that now was the time for us to be connected. Right? It was time for us to be connected for such a time as that, where I needed that person and they needed me. And today we're still the best of friends. But we needed that time apart to grow, because God was being intentional about what He was doing in our lives. And Candace said, needed to hear this preparation. And that's right. The same thing with Candace. Candace is so creative. Candace is creative. She cooks. She has all these things that she can do. And so, Candace, you have to start preparing for your next, right? Cooking in your kitchen is awesome, but there's something bigger out there, and we have to start thinking bigger, because God is thinking big for us, right? Goodness, I can't remember the singer's name, but it's Mike something. And he says he has a song that is going to be big, right? Like, we don't have to like do things a certain way to be small and minimize ourselves because we're worrying about what people think. Well, how did they do this? Well, who does he think he is? Who does she think he is? No, we're not worried about those things. We know who we are. We are the child of the Most High. We are the children of the Most High, and we have the right. We are royalty, and we have the right to acquire whatever it is that he desires for us to have. And we're walking in preparation, we're walking in expectation, we're walking in anticipation for whatever God has for us. Don't worry about what other people think, how they feel about what you have and what you're getting. It's favor and it's grace and it's mercy. And if God says that you can have it, you can have it. And I'm speaking that into my life. If God says that I can have it, then I can have it. We had a prophet come to our church just last month, and he said that we are supernatural beings, and we acquire supernatural results. So whatever God has for you, it's yours. Open your hands, open your heart, open your mind, open your eyes to receive it. It belongs to you if he says that you can have it. And so I want you to think about vision. I don't want you to think about resolution, right? Think about vision and think about what's next for you. I love you guys. I thank you so much for rocking with JSpirations Live this entire year. You guys have been such a blessing to me. You just don't understand how much coming on JSpirations Live, Fill Up Friday, and just talking to you guys, finding out what you filled up on. It filled me up. JSpirations Live and the Philip Friday faithfuls, and everyone that's been watching and liking and following and sharing. You have blessed my soul. You have blessed my heart this year. And I am so thankful for you guys being in my life. We are almost to 1,000 followers, and that means that we are doing good work, right? That means that people are seeing something in us. So make sure that if you just like us, make sure that you following us as well so that we can get our numbers up. We have work to do. And I thank you guys for holding my hand, for riding in the car with me and being part of JSpirations Live. Um, just want to tell you that January the 28th, we are having poetry and pastries. It's going to be here in the Hampton Roads area. Go to JSpirations Live page, look at the event, click that you are going. And I'm going to be putting the Cash App out soon so that you guys can purchase your tickets. I know I do a lot of events that are free, but we are selling tickets to this event because JSpirations Live is going to be on the move. We want to make sure that the events that we have, that they are nice, that they are productive, that you guys are enjoying them, and that we're able to get items that we need to make sure that we have an awesome event. So January the 28th, poetry and pastries. We'll have about 5 poets that's going to take the mic, including myself. The address and location is in the event on JSpirations Live. Again, the Cash App to be able to purchase your tickets will be up by the end of the weekend. We only have about 25 slots, right? So once that Cash App goes up, go ahead and purchase your tickets. Purchase a ticket for yourself. Purchase a ticket for your friend because you are going to want to be in the house. Delightful Desserts will be providing some of our desserts. We're going to have some cupcakes. They are absolutely delicious. So poetry and pastry. So we're going to have some really good pastries. We have a couple other vendors that's going to be providing some desserts for us. But I'm shouting out Delightful Desserts because they always rock with JSpirations Live and make sure that we have what we need. So go ahead, go to the page, check that you are going, and then look out for the Cash App in order to purchase your tickets. Tickets are only $20. Right? So you're going to get some good poetry. You know you're going to get some motivation because JSpirations Live, that's what we do. And you're going to have some really good treats. So make sure that you have that on your calendar. I love you guys so much. Remember to do something for yourself this weekend that fills you up and that makes you feel good, right? Remember to give someone else a smile if they don't have one. Love on somebody, encourage somebody. I love you guys, and be JSpire.